World renowned. Holla, holla.
Welcome to the Real HD Show. I'm your awareness VJ for this evening, dropping that Deohedron. Look it up, catch up. We are dropping it this evening, hard and heavy for your paws, like the young people say. My name is Vic. The HD stands for the higher discussion. That's right. You might see other things on other airwaves that tell lies, truths, fables, fiction, but we try to alleviate the contradiction. We try to do it without the fiction right here on the Real HD Show. We talk about the good, the bad, the ugly of our people, and we heal it with freedom music. Freedom music is if you choose to jump on the show between 7:30 and 8 o'clock, we will play you that jazz, hip hop, soul, soca, rock and roll, reggae, everything to put a battery in your back and make you a better person. We play that right before the show goes on. If no one chooses to come through, that is cool too. Shout out to all the families out there getting ready to celebrate the solstice celebrations, as it were, in whatever way you celebrate them. Thanksgiving's coming up, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, Christmas, New Year's, da, ba, 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 da, 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 everything going on in the land, but you overstand, you rocking with the Real HD Show. You gave your time to come on out and participate with the Real HD Show. And we think that you are super important, and we think you need to join in on what we're doing. And how else can you join in on what we're doing? Well, you can go to our 4 Facebook pages that we're blasting off to: the AJ James page, the Deadline page, Community Justice Initiative, and the Real HD Show page. And you can watch the show, comment, send your likes, and so on through there. You can also do it through the Prime Time with a Purpose page, Real HD Show page on YouTube. You can also go to Twitch on the Real HD Show page. You can also go to the Real HD Show page on Twitter. You can also go to the Real HD Show page on Kick. Whatever floats your boat, finds your lost remote, you can get down with on the Real HD Show. Make sure you share, give a like, give a comment, and turn on all your notifications so that every time we do the Real HD Show, awareness so you can move fearless, you too can tap in and have a higher discussion. Because you might see all those things in all those other places. Roly Poly Fat Martin talking his crap. You might see people on The View talking their crap. You might see people on the, all of the talk show syndicates talking their heavy crap. But not only do we try to give you the awareness to move fearless and give you that information so you could be fortified, but we also try to provide you some solutions to moving on. All right. So before we get into everything that we do here, and get fully in motion, I want you guys to make sure that you are checking out a lot of the shows that are on the station. So I put together a video that gives us the opportunity to show the channel lineup for this week. And a lot of people will be off. A lot of people will be just getting into their winter routine, as it were. And we want you guys to check out all of the really, really cool and really, really fun and really, really informative and conscious minded programming on the Real HD Show network. Check it out, Real HD Show. right. So you guys saw that. I want to go back for just a skosh and put up. Okay, there we go. So I want to talk about that for a second, right? More shows are coming. So you saw the shows on the list, and if you've been paying attention to the channel over the last couple of months, you see that we have the Real HD show. That's right. Prime time with a purpose. The good, the bad, the ugly of our people, healing it with freedom music. So that's the show that you're on currently. Our futuristic social justice talk show that you're on currently. Now, we're going to talk about what's going on this is Wednesday. On Thursday's lineup, we have the Big House Breakdown college football show featuring on the game. That's right. Ohio State plays Michigan for all the marbles. One more again during the college football season. That will be a preview for Saturday's big game. Check that out. Also on Friday, on Friday, we got a dope one. We got Broadcast Beats music producer show, one of a kind music producer show, and we are doing Battle of the Beats. That's right. We're trying to find out who is the best impact signature artists of all time. And we got some dope artists we're going to feature. Then on Saturday, we are going to show a one more again rendition of the Sage Dragon Book Club show, Faux Feminism. And also on Sunday, don't forget, as you're checking out your NBA during the day, tune in to us at 7 o'clock on Sunday and watch some In the Bonus. But I froze it right here for a reason. Why? Because we have some new shows under development. That's right. Our People's Party. What the hell is that? Well, that's our political show because I want Black people to start moving, thinking like we're going to have our own political party. We've been in this country almost 500 years, and it's way past bedtime for us to have our own political party, act on our own political interests, and further these generations. Vanguard now. This is about self defense, the Black Panther Party. How are we going to protect our assets, protect ourselves, protect our families, protect our future? Blacktastic centric shopping. That's right. We are jumping into the Amazon exchange, and you guys will see shopping that caters and that is centered toward our melanated people, our culture, our habits, our tastes, what's on our menu. What are we shopping for? What does our fit look like? What does our drip look like? What are we buying? What are we spending our money on? Not just because Target or Walmart chooses not to honor Black people anymore, but what are we consciously doing with our purchasing power? How do we contribute to the national GDP through through these products, so on and so forth? Check out some fantastic products. Two really dynamite sisters are going to host this show. The Jazzes, as I like to call them, Blacktastic Centric Shopping, Sipping After Dark relationship show. Still under construction, still looking for some dynamic hosts to embark on that journey. So if you know any young ladies, Xers, millennials, Zs that want to get involved with a relationship show, telling us some truths, telling us some telling it like it is while having fun. Check us out, Sipping After Dark. Sneaker Madness speaks for itself. We are chronicalizing the impact of the Black culture on the sneaker market worldwide. And then the world class co op shop will be business, investing, and promoting. And you heard it right here first on the Real HD Show. Um, I think I got someone in the background waiting to come on up. Peace, one. That's what's going on with you, bro.
What's going on? How you doing?
Hey, we got the legendary producer, 1S, in the building on the Real HD Show. This is a treat because he hasn't been on my show in quite a while. Love you, man. So give us a little bit of a sample, and that's fine. You can, all right, cool. You're going to cam up. That's dope too. You know what I'm saying? Cool. So give us a sample of what your show on Friday will be about a little bit and what can the people expect. And, Give them a sample of what y'all do on Broadcast Beats.
Well, for one, it's all about the production. We focus mostly on the music production side of hip hop, R&B, contemporary music, uh, things around that nature. Yeah, we like to focus on, like we say, we like to focus on the beats. It's more than anything, it's a beats, primarily a beats based show.
Okay.
Yeah, man, we do different things. Like we give advice. We got a segment where we give advice. Producer play beats called Beat of the Week. That's a segment where we play the beats. We also speak about the rap and music culture through the streets. We touch on current events in the world of music and entertainment. That shed light on what's going on in the industry that we're stepping into. So also we're doing Battle of the Best, as my dad mentioned. That's a big segment. That's a big, you know, portion of the show that we're focusing on, where we're analyzing all the best artists through the past 50 years in music, hip hop, and R&B, and we basically breaking it down to see who's the best, who's arguably the most impactful artist and the most who gave the most to the game, to the music game, hip hop, R&B. Yeah, we just breaking those down, breaking that down, and yeah, man, it's gonna be a good show. Friday, we gonna analyze the stars such as Rihanna, Lil Durk, G Herbo, uh, I believe Maroon 5 as well,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm trying to think. Oh, Lauryn Hill, it's another one, and some others, but yeah, those are.
All right, cool. So, y'all tap in. We doing preliminaries. This isn't like the head-to-head round, so we're gonna do it like as one of the producers of the shows. Peace to Godspeed. Don't want to have you waiting too long without the acknowledgement. Thanks for tuning
Peace,
in,
my
bro,
brother.
bro. Yeah, man. Thanks
Indeed.
for tuning in, bro. So, hopefully, everybody else will tap in. How do you do that? How in the world do you tap into the show? Well, you can go and put the call letters on the bottom. You type them into your address bar above. 1S, can you make your finger like you're pointing above your head? Yeah, that's right. That address bar right there. And then you put the letters in your address bar. You press return, and I bring you up live so that you can tap in with us. There you go. StreamYard.com. KPHSQ, what is it? IHJ83. Do that, do that, do that. And you could be a part of what we do here on the show. Yeah, man, I hear you kick audience. Why don't y'all come into the show and then we'll talk about, our movements and our networks afterwards. So while I still got 1S on the show, let's do some power to the people news. Wait, what just happened? This just happened. Nicki Minaj went to the UN caping for Trump. Uh-oh. Roro. Roro.
Nah.
So Nicki Minaj, after, doing the booty dance for about 20 years, decides she wants to be super Christian. You hear this, Godspeed?
Oh, have I?
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
couldn't. I couldn't stop hearing about this.
Yeah, she's MAGA now because she's going to the UN.
Maga
She
Minaj.
she's caping right, MAGA Minaj. She's going to the UN, and we're gonna dive into this tomorrow night on not tomorrow night, but Friday night on Broadcast Beat Show on our section in the streets.
No doubt.
But we'll do it tonight since I got 1S on and I got my good brother on. We'll set it off like that. Some good
Oh yeah.
conversation. MAGA Minaj. Now this is the same chick that
Mm-hmm.
disrespects Harriet Tubman. This is the same chick
The
that
same
comes
one.
out the left side of her neck disrespecting Rosa Parks. This is the same chick
Mm.
that comes out the side of her neck disrespecting MLK. And then thinks that it's
Mm.
going to be all good when she takes the stand
Yeah.
at the UN,
Yeah.
bumping gums.
Like Floyd Mayweather
about,
in Jerusalem.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. About being ultra Christian after she done
Uh-huh.
did the booty dance for 20 years.
Uh-huh.
She done did the BBL shuffle for 20
Uh-huh.
years.
Uh-huh.
Right?
Uh-huh.
She did the BBL shuffle for 20 years.
Get
Slide
her.
to the left. Slide
Uh-huh.
to the right.
Get her.
Clap it up.
Uh-huh.
Clap it up. You know,
Uh-huh.
everybody clap your hands. You know what type of clapping I'm talking about. She was clapping for 20 years, right? And now she wants to be super Christian. Y'all talk to us, man. I'll give one S the floor because he's not usually on the show. Talk to us about MAGA Minaj. She is thanking Trump for threatening to go to war with Nigeria over being Christian, over being a Christian nation, or being a traditional African nation. Your thoughts, one us? I know
I don't know.
it's a head scratcher. I get it.
I thought
It's a lot to unpack.
last week or something around there. I'm not sure. Like I heard she was siding with Trump on the Christian side of things.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
And then there was a problem with like when she said something about a gay. It was a gay thing. Is it something with some homosexuals or something? This doesn't involve that.
Yeah, a lot of African nations, and I believe Nigeria is one of them. They don't have that LGBTQ stuff, and America is trying to like shoehorn that joint into their society, and the leadership in those nations aren't having it. They say y'all could do that in the West. We don't do that over here. Brother Godspeed, while one S collects himself and is going to give us some dynamite intel. Talk to us about MAGA Minaj.
MAGA Minaj. Just another case of not the PTA like leaders of the new school, but there's just
Right.
another case of the MAGA Negro. Okay?
Wow.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
call her like she is. I'm gonna call her like she is, man. She ain't never dropped no ledge on none of her records. She ain't never talked about
Mm.
her people's culture. All she did was
Mm.
get her butt enhanced. You know what I'm saying? And
Mm.
did the dance. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, yeah.
my thing is like this. If you're a pedestrian, just stay on the crosswalk, bro. You know what I'm saying? No
Mm-hmm,
need to get in the
mm-hmm.
streets. No need to get in the streets. You know what I
Right.
mean? All you good for is entertainment. So be an entertainer.
So you saying she punching against her? She punching above her weight class.
She's way above her weight class, bro. On the name of this guy behind me right here, H. Rap Brown, she is way above her weight class. She has no
Mm.
cultural background whatsoever. All we know
Mm-hmm.
about is what? She from TNT. She from Trinidad and Tobago. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So am I. You know what I'm
So,
saying?
so am I. But guess
So
what?
am
That don't excuse you for coming out the side of your neck. You know what I'm saying?
I. At all, man. Hey, look. All right. Pure and simple, right? She has no knowledge herself, no foundation, no education of her people and their trials and tribulations. None. Okay?
Mm.
So she's upset about Christians having a bit of a hard social time over in Nigeria, right?
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much, right?
Yeah.
Well, okay.
And
Nikki.
she's thanking Trump for kind of leading the charge, and kind of saying he's going to protect Christendom worldwide.
Hey,
And
yeah, he want to protect Christendom over there because over there got a lot of resources that he wants. There's probably some
mm,
minerals that he wants, some of those special
mm,
minerals or whatever they call it. There's probably
right,
there's a lot of resources in Nigeria, but forget just Nigeria, all over Africa, there's booming resources. This is what got them over there in the first place. This is what made them bring Christianity over there in the first place.
uh-huh,
I mean, she is very slack on her history. She never heard of a guy named Leopold?
right.
Never heard of Leopold, huh? Huh?
Hey,
Anytime,
educate the people who Leopold is, please.
man, this guy Leopold's this European man. He came through there and straight up like had war against our people over there. I'm talking about these people was like maiming people for diamonds and gold.
Yes,
Diamonds and gold, raping and pillaging, literally. Okay. So I
right.
mean, there's a whole lot on him. But my thing is like, look, man, you just look at it for what it is. You know what I mean? What all of these European nations had in common, the one common denominator for most of them, is most of their armies, they came through and they were coming through in the name of Christianity, running people out of their natural way of living and their pre-religion way of living that is much older than their religions. Okay? Because most of those religions got its spark all the way over there in ancient Kemet. If you're looking at Christianity, Roman Catholicism, all these things had their spark from ancient Kemet. There was no book, there was no Bible prior to the Septuagint. Okay?
Yes,
So
sir.
you look at things like this from this angle, you can see why I'm a little bit frustrated with Nicki Minaj right now. Because
Yeah.
all I'm kicking to you is what people can look up on YouTube. I am not saying anything special at all.
Right.
Okay? Just a little bit of knowledge. Rakim once said on a record, a little bit of knowledge could be dangerous. You could take that, and he said that on Follow the Leader. You could take that two different ways. Okay?
Yeah.
A little bit of knowledge could really shine a light on a situation and still make it dangerous, even though you're standing on righteous pillars with your point that you're making. But a little bit of knowledge, as in lack of knowledge, is dangerous, as in Nicki Minaj. A little bit of integrity or lack thereof is dangerous in a Nicki Minaj because she got all of these followers, all these Barbies and all this stuff that she's all into. She got male and female Barbies, a lot of them. I never checked her account, but she must have well over a million so-called, as they say on the
Oh,
internet, followers.
oh, it's immense. She's got the ear of a lot of women.
Yeah,
Xers, millennials, Z's. She's got the ear of a lot of people.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
For
So
sure.
yeah, so they following her. This is why I don't even like the term following. This whole thing about you got a Facebook account and determine everybody is your follower. I'd rather admire her. I'd rather anything else but follower. Okay, because a lot of people are just leading people off the cliff.
Speaking of leading people off the cliff, 1X, do you wanna 1S, do you wanna jump in here before we move on to the next issue? You wanna talk about MAGA Minaj or what's going on?
I just remember, yeah. I just remember there was a something mentioned about how the situation in Nigeria compared to homosexuals in the U.S. And I was just trying to like put it together. I think she was saying she's defending the anti-Christian movement in Nigeria the same way that the homosexuals have been here, trying to persecute here. So I kind of like understand where she's coming from, and I kind of get like, I don't know. I'm not mad at her for trying to like turn her life around and be Christian and I guess change her ways, or use that as a way to be more, like you told me, be more balanced, to be more centered with herself. If that's how she feels like it'll improve her life, I'm not too mad at that. Uh, I don't know. I guess is the problem that you guys are saying like she's like misinformed about the Christian or what's going on, or it's just not her lane?
Yeah, I mean both things. First of all, it's really not her place to tell another nation of people how to number one worship. Number two, it's not her place to you know I'm very leery, Godspeed, about why someone who made herself a career, uh what do you call that? She's had a bombastic career of being
Absolutely.
outspoken, about being
Hmm.
loud, about being
Hmm.
abrasive, and
Hmm.
now all of a sudden, out the blue,
Hmm.
when she's not chart topping anymore,
Right.
now she wants to
On us,
be
it's socially political.
right, right. Now she wants to be politically correct, and
Right.
now you see. And why did that matter then? Why did it matter when she had this huge platform? Why wasn't she talking about the National Union for Freedom Fighters in Trinidad?
Right. Exactly, brother.
Why
Like,
wasn't she talking about, Elma Francois and Andrew Jacob and Tubal Butler down in Trinidad, putting it in for the people down there? You know what I'm saying?
Come on, man. Speak on it,
Like,
man. Speak
like,
on
like
it.
those are the revolutionaries. We love the Black Panthers here, but those were the Black Panthers in Trinidad.
Talk about it.
And I don't hear that coming out. I don't hear a whiff of that coming out of her.
None.
But I do hear her allying to a cause that she could catch some momentum from, and then
You
she
know,
can gain some notoriety from,
yep,
because it's viral to support MAGA.
exactly. And what she's doing is trying to take out a Floyd. And Floyd Mayweather is my favorite boxer outside of Muhammad Ali. I'm just keeping it
Right,
real with y'all, right?
right,
But in the ring, not outside the ring. Outside
yeah,
the ring, he can't measure to Muhammad Ali. All right?
yeah,
Never.
yeah.
Okay.
Doesn't
So
have to
what
go
she's
through that.
doing is really taking a play out of Floyd Mayweather's book. Because he went over to Israel and got on stage and talked about, oh, I'm with Israel. I got their back. You know, my best friend is Israeli, and this and that and that and this. And if you messing with Israel, you're messing with Floyd Mayweather. And I'm
Mm,
just like, and I'm just, loose speaking a little bit. He really was referring to his friend, but he's on stage in Israel, garbed out, and he's acting like he know what he's talking about. And I'm like, Mayweather, really? And then when I say she's pulling out his playbook, guess what happens next? There's a big old picture with him sitting with a whole bunch of money. Okay.
yeah,
So he pretty much got paid for
yeah,
making that appearance. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? So I
And at a
suggest,
time, let me add on real quick.
go
And
ahead,
at a
Adam.
time when MAGA is choosing everybody's taking sides right now, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So and they're coming down heavy on the liberal entities in the entertainment industry.
Mm-hmm.
If you talking something different than what MAGA's talking about, MAGA coming for you.
Mm-hmm.
So do y'all think this could be a little bit of her trying to protect her own social interests
No,
I mean commercial interests, not social interests, but commercial interests?
no,
I'm just saying, because look at what they did for Charlie Kirk's wife.
right.
She's
That
laid
part
in the
there.
shade. She's
Mm-hmm.
she's she's a prime figure. She's
Mm-hmm.
down with Heritage USA. She's doing
Mm-hmm.
all of the things, and all it
Mm-hmm.
took was for her husband to die. Now she's the new
Mm-hmm.
MAGA. Um,
Princess.
right. She's the new MAGA princess. But
Mm-hmm.
we go on to find out that the two of them have history. When Homegirl was in pageants back in the day, Trump and her have history.
Mm.
When when
Mm.
when she was
I
doing
didn't know that.
pageants back in the day.
I didn't know that.
And I'm not saying
Just
she
enlighten
wanted
me.
her husband killed. That's not what I'm saying.
Mm-mm.
I'm just
No.
saying it's pretty curious that the
Right.
man is deleted, and now she's exalted into this new space that she ain't had nothing to do with.
I hear you, bro. And I
And
didn't even
now
know
Nicki
that part right
Minaj
there.
ain't chart topping like she used to chart top, and all of a sudden she's MAGA protecting her commercial interests. Y'all talk
Right.
about it. Y'all give it to us. Last one on this. Y'all talk about it.
I mean, hey, look, where is she, right? Okay, she's so worried about what's going all the way over in Nigeria. Let's take it at face value that she really feel very strongly for what Nicki Minaj, was saying about Christian situation in Nigeria, so on and so forth, right?
Right.
Where was she when all of these youth is killing each other in South Jamaica? Black on black
Mm.
murder. Where is she? She from South Jamaica, South
Yes,
side,
she is.
outside. Where is she? South
Mm-hmm.
Jamaica, meet Jamaica. Where is she?
Right.
Nowhere to be
Right.
found. Not even in
Right.
a lyric does she
Right.
ever address any of this. Not even in like a donation to the neighborhood. I don't hear
Mm.
nobody talking about Nikki did this for the neighborhood and did that for the neighborhood.
Mm.
Nobody. When 50 did something, he fixed the parks in certain places like Baisley and so forth. You heard about it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
I heard nothing about Nikki doing anything for anyone but herself. And that was okay. until she opened up a pie hole just now. You know what I mean? She's talking
Yeah.
out of place right now. And I'm using those terms on purpose because she needs to just be hap to rap. All right. She's a hap to rap artist. She's not Public Enemy. She's not Dead Prez. She's not X Clan. She's not Talib Kweli. She's not Mos Def. She's not Nas. She's not any of these type of people when it comes to like dropping any kind of cultural anything in the lyricism at all. And that was okay because she was entertaining. I actually like a lot of her stuff. She's entertaining, right? But the problem is that she's stepping out of her pool from being an entertainer to try to be an edutainer, and she's not KRS One, who created the
Yeah,
phrase.
that bothers me a lot, man. Like when I hear the Breakfast Club interviewing a politician, I cringe.
Yeah, I know you do too.
I cringe, bro. I be like, oh my God, please, please don't tell me this dude is gonna come up here and bust a rap. Don't tell me these knuckleheads is gonna talk politics because they just sound like monkey in the middle. Where you at? In the middle, monkey in the middle. You know what I'm saying? They sound crazy on roller skates. Like stop, like Charlemagne, just shut up, just don't do it. Like stop. Like it's hard. It's like, and they always go up there and make a fool of these people because they just don't know enough. But every cycle, they'll bring some politician in there, and then the
Yep.
politician will make it their business to make themselves look smarter, look like the most educated person in the room,
Oh, by far and large, they do that all
and
the
then it
time when
makes
they go
them
up
look
there.
stupid as hell.
Mm-hmm.
So, in my
Mm-hmm.
opinion, if you're an educator, if you're an entertainer, be an entertainer. Like when we
Mm-hmm.
were having the civil rights movement, and people like Red Fox and Sidney Poitier and Harry Belafonte, they didn't go up there and give the speeches. They raised the money. They was fundraisers. they
Right.
knew it wasn't their role to grab a mic and start talking. Now I'm gonna let
Right.
brother Malcolm do that. I'm gonna let brother Adam Clayton Powell do that. I'm gonna let brother
Right.
Martin do that.
Right.
I'm
I
gonna
mean,
let
in her case,
people who do
in her
that do
case,
that. I
she
don't
could have
do
let
that.
She could have let Kendrick Lamar do that. Like Jesus Christ, like
Man,
come on,
terrible,
come
terrible,
on, man,
terrible. But
come
while I
on.
got y'all on, I don't know how much time 1S has, but let's get into this. And we're gonna get into this again on Friday on In the Streets and Broadcast Beats. So y'all tune in. Everybody at home watching this, y'all tune in and let us know. Power to the People News. Guess what happened? This just happened. Now, this is not new news, but it's some news that we need to go over as far as meritorious manumissions, man. We got Nicki Minaj, we got Maga Minaj, and now we got Sexy Red as a op. Are you kidding me?
What?
Sexy Red claps back at suggestion she was planted by the CIA to promote degeneracy in music.
Oh Lord.
Mm. Now, what's interesting about this? Shout out to Walter Williams, your bitch ass, right? Everybody who know Walter Williams, that was the mole, that was the op when Fred Hampton was running
Mm.
the Chicago
Mm.
unit of the Black Panther Party, and
Mm. The
he was
Black Messiah.
responsible
Mm.
for dropping a lot of dimes, giving a lot of information, just being an overall scumbag, and giving up a lot of information that led to Fred Hampton being killed. So one of our most revolutionary leaders, one of our youth, them who was putting down with that fire, who basically, yo, let me ask you a question real quick, look. And I know, 1S may not have enough experience to talk about Fred Hampton.
Okay.
But if Fred Hampton was an MC, how dangerous would he be?
KRS One on steroids.
Yo, Fred Hampton knew how to. Did that
He
brother
was
know
a
how to deal
problem.
with a
He
microphone?
had to
That
gift the
brother
gab. He had to gift the gab, man. And I
really had to
still,
get the
and
dad,
I'll be honest
man.
with you, and I ain't
Man,
afraid to admit, I'm not afraid to admit, I'm still behind on my Frederick Hampton files. To be honest with you,
hmm
I've checked his footage, but not as extensive as others. You know what I mean?
yeah.
But
Everybody who wants a good education, Daniel Aluya did a great job. The brother from Get Out, he did a great job of portraying Fred Hampton in the movie Death of a Black Messiah.
yes, killed it,
Please
killed it.
watch
You,
that movie. If you
incredible
owe it to this
movie.
stuff, man, if you're a melanated person of any
Got to.
persuasion, who cares
But
about freedom, justice, and equality for people, watch Death of a Black Messiah.
absolutely,
Man.
absolutely. That
And
man
he was
was
self-taught.
ahead of
Fred
his time.
Hampton was self-taught. But let's get back to Sexy Red.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, I said this in the past. I thought she was a plant. I thought she was an industry plant
Mhm.
because her act, her routine, it was just way too salacious.
Mhm.
It was just way too out of context, way too crazy. You know, my something, 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 my booty hole brown, my this, my that. Just wild shit she be talking, man. And it made me think, like, you know, remember when Digital Underground had Humpty Hump? Anybody remember Digital Underground had Humpty?
Absolutely.
And Humpty was a farce on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
He was made on purpose to show how the industry turns rappers into clowns. He was made on purpose. He wasn't like, but he became this like super duper, you know, Slim Shady type of character where everybody wanted to see him with the big nose and the
Absolutely.
dancing and the cooning. But
Mhm.
Shock G did that on purpose to show how easy the industry can bait you into being, take you out of your character as a musician and make you a joke of yourself, right?
He was a genius.
Right. That was a stroke of genius. But it became so large. Humpty Hump became so larger than life
Yes.
for his character that's all they wanted Shock G to do was Humpty Hump. He couldn't even put together his own album because all they wanted to hear was Humpty.
Uh-huh.
You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
Now you fast forward 30 years from then, and then you get Sexy Red talking about my coochie pink, my booty hole brown, and all the rest of it.
Right.
And now they're talking about she was potentially a CIA plant. Now we know that the CIA had rap files.
Yes.
They had rap files on Biggie Small. They had rap files on Tupac and WA. This is all real shit. Look it up. Now
Yep.
that's on me. I should have bought receipts. I should have bought the articles that showed the rap files of how the CIA was spying on all these legendary rap artists: Biggie, Pac, Snoop, all of them. Right? Because so it just wasn't East Coast versus West Coast. It was also influenced by governmental agencies. So talk to us, 1S, man. I mean, this is your, you know, these are your ALikes, not your ALikes, but your time period, your artists that you revolve in.
Contemporaries.
Contemporaries, right? Thank you for the word. What's going on with Sexy Red at the CIA plant? What's up? Do you think so or not?
Well, it says she clapped back. I don't know what the clap back was, but I mean, yes, I don't know.
Basically, all right, I'll tell you what the clapback was. The clapback was this sarcastic mention of, yeah, you caught me. I'm a mole. I'm a op. I'm the op. They got me. And she made it sound so ridiculous. Like, why would you ever think that? I'm from the South. We get down like this. This is our thing. But then again, Rhapsody didn't do that. There's a lot of young ladies who are really, really dope that didn't have to go the same route that she went.
Right.
And we know that there were CIA industry plants in the past that were music artists. And they got put on like, oh, you know who said they were plants? What's them two white boys with the Kodak black hair, Ty? What are they called? The Island Boys. Remember them two clowns? They were actually ops, and they admitted to it.
Oh wow! Yeah, I don't know them, and I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, two light skinned boys with two little, you know, interracial looking white boys. Right? They interracial, but they look like white boys. And then they did their hair up blonde like Kodak Black with the naughty locks, right? And then they were singing all these little goofy ass songs, looking like the Dalmatian twins on Brown Sugar, looking crazy. And turns out they were plants. They were there to cause chaos and confusion in the industry. Wow. And just to see if people would drink the Kool-Aid that they were serving up. It was full of that bullshit sugar. Was you going to drink it? Did you drink the Island Boy Kool-Aid, 1S?
Nah, not really.
You was buying their Apple Music?
Nah, they just not that good to me. So right?
Yeah, that goes without saying, man. That goes without saying. They got booed several times in several situations.
Oh wow.
But what do y'all think about this Sexy Red being an op? And my thing is this, man, where there's smoke, there's fire.
Okay.
That's always my thing. That's always my thing. And it may not be that she was an op.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe she got caught up with like in a plea deal or something. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
She got arrested and she had to
Right.
take a plea deal.
Right.
And then some reporter caught that and said, "Oh, she's a op. She down with them folks." You know what I'm saying?
Right. Because look at the movie Black Messiah, right? They
Yeah.
touched on that.
Yeah. Yeah.
They
Yeah.
touched on that technique right there. You know what I mean?
And that's the way they get you. You
Yeah.
get you a little charge on you,
Yep.
1S,
Yep.
and now they got you singing.
Mm-hmm.
Tweet, tweet, singing with the birds. Right?
Yep.
They got you singing. Tweedledee. They got you Michael Jackson in 1968. You singing Tweedledee. Right?
Yep. Yep.
And what's going on, homegirl? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And then, when you don't really defend yourself, you
Mm-hmm.
kind of like eat that saying.
Right.
I'm saying where there's smoke, there's fire. What y'all think?
I
'Cause
mean,
we gotta kind of move on.
personally, I feel like, look, you know what? I feel it's on cruise control. You know? Cruise control. Now,
Yeah.
a lot of the stuff she did, she would have done anyway.
Right.
A lot of it.
Right.
Now, where the op energy is coming from, her taking pictures, like doing shop, picture shop with Martin Luther King,
Yeah.
and getting into that back and forth with his daughter.
Oh, that was horrible.
That's where the opism comes in at, because I don't think that she would have done. I don't think she would have done that. I don't think she would have did anything concerning Martin Luther King. I think she would just be like more like Maga Minaj. You know what I'm saying? Just
Right.
keep it in the music. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Make
sir.
her money, shake her tail, and that's it. And again, there's a lane for her. That's all right. That's your lane. You know what I mean? Because honestly, people could sit around and go opposite sides for either side, where the side that has, and I'm just, hip hop music is much bigger than what I'm about to talk about now in terms of this example. But I'm just doing this just to make a point. You know what I mean? So you have people who would side and be like, yeah, I want more cultural diversity in the music. And then you got some people who be like, no, I don't want to hear you trying to kick knowledge. I don't want to hear that when I'm in a club. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So you got this dynamic going on, But my thing is more like, for folks like her, she just wouldn't cross the line like that on her own, I don't think. She's very young. It's not to say we don't have brilliant young people out there. You know what I'm saying? But she's very young. All right? Very green on certain things. You can see in the interviews. Where did she get off thinking she's going to pose with a Martin Luther King picture and drive the internet crazy like she did?
Yeah. That's some salacious stuff. That sounds like somebody put her up to that for some sort of clout, some sort of like, some sort of like some sort of notoriety that she could get from that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Yeah. Like you say, man, you know what? It just brings the suspicion of cloak and daggerism. It just brings the suspicion of an undercover rapper. You know what I'm saying? It just brings the suspicion that, hey, look, they probably finished with it and they figure, you know what, we could throw her away. Throw that out there. Let's cause some more controversy because we used her up already. We squeezed the juice out of this orange.
Yeah.
Let's spit out the pits.
Right. So, 1S, talk to us, man. What do you think about Sexy Red and the allegations? And it now more than ever, this whole thing about ops and industry plants seems to be a thing in the generation of culture that pop culture that revolves around music right now. Why do you think there's such a op and plant dialogue in music culture right now? Because that really wasn't a thing in the 80s and the 90s and the thousands. Now it's a op plant cultural talk right now. What's your thoughts on why that exists?
I mean, it's just part of the game. I feel like these artists are just trying to, when you say op and plant culture and like, you know, doing what they got to do to protect their image or keep their image going.
Mm-hmm.
Like you like with Nicki Minaj and the MAGA. I just think they're trying to just take advantage. It's you know it's tough times we in. I just think they're trying to take advantage of any avenue they can to try to make it. Because if you look at it like you say, Sexy Red, Nicki Minaj. I'm not even gonna lie. Sexy Red's music isn't that bad to me, but at the same time, it's not any enriching music to listen to. You're not gonna get anything like you're not gonna get anything out of that. It's like in terms of you know raising your consciousness or anything. So I would think I think it's a stunt. It's all about a publicity stunt to keep yourself relevant or make yourself relevant. I
Very, very keen, very keen. I
really
agree.
get it's definitely a attitude now of get it how you live because that's how and you know it's sad because I want to be a fan of the like female rap movement, but it's heavy. The female rap movement is heavy on where the bag at, who got the bag. I do whatever for the bag. I give it like she talking about giving it up
Yeah.
for the bag. You know, it's all about the bag. It's all about what can I do to get it. So
So last thing on this, right, between the three of us, it was proven that there was a triangulation in the 90s when they were talking about gangster rap, the onset of gangster rap, the onset of the prison industrial complex, and the onset of moving away from rap that or hip hop that was quality into hip hop that was a little more chaotically designed, because they wanted the youth to follow, because they wanted a generation to actually be in that school to prison pipeline. And why? Because the same people that invested in the record industry invested in prison industrial complex. And that's been proven. We did a whole show on it. Y'all can go back and look. Anybody's watching right now, y'all can go back and look at the prison industry pipeline, the record industry pipeline, and the investments that come from BlackRock, Blackstreet, and Vanguard. They're all the same. And there were even some things that were admitted by Leo Cohen. Didn't Leo Cohen admit this in the Hot 97 interview about how he got to feed his family? So he's going to do what the popular investors wanted him to do. Didn't he
You
say
know
that
what?
on the Hot 97 at one time, Godspeed?
It's possible, and I've seen it, but I'll be honest with you, I can't remember verbatim.
Yeah, yeah.
But
He
I
talked
remember him
about
saying
why.
things to that effect. I remember him saying something along those lines, though.
I should have the quote. I have it somewhere. It might have been on my old MacBook, but it was a quote about why did you sponsor the music that has so much degradation and violence and corruption in it versus
Right.
sponsoring artists that were more, you know, artistic, conscious minded, that actually soulful, you know what I mean? And he was
Yeah.
like, "Yo, I gotta feed my family."
Yeah. If my physical was on the line, because he hates that dude, and he
Yeah.
remembers
He'd be
every
able to.
nook and cranny.
Yeah, for
He
sure.
hates that dude. So he remembers
Shout
all
out,
the stuff that he said.
shout out to Big Roo. Yeah, man. So yeah, man. So we know there's a pipeline for that, and we knew that was the pipeline for the men.
Mm-hmm.
So now that there's such a major push to push the women into these spaces of corruption and degradation and craziness with the artistry,
Mm-hmm.
what do y'all think? Playing chess, not checkers. What do y'all think is the end game? The end game was the prison industrial complex for men. They needed workers. They had
Mm-hmm.
to have 90% occupancy in the prisons, and they wanted the corruptibility of gangster rap to contribute to the cultural degradation of an entire generation so that they could fill these prisons.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Ice Cube talked about it. Lazy Bone talked about it. It's been, it's been exposed over and over and over. A
Yep.
lot of people have done documentaries on it. What do y'all think is the end game for the ladies? Since the ladies seem to be going down this rabbit hole of corruption and degradation with their artistry,
Mm-hmm.
what do y'all think is the end game for that? And I mean, we don't have to be right. Y'all can tell us at home what y'all think is the end game for the ladies with the whole, the booty clap generation. What do y'all think is the end game with that? What do y'all think is the macro intentionality behind such, horrible or deplorable music? Because I'm telling you, these are talented young ladies,
They are. They
and
are talented.
if left to their own devices, I don't think they'd be making that type of music. You might hear it from a few of them, but I'm guaranteeing you that the music would be a lot more varied because they're from different places.
Right.
So it's crazy that a Lotto sounds just like a Nicki Minaj, and one is from Georgia and one is from Queens. They're from different regions of the country. They got different experiences, but they ain't doing nothing but talking about the same shit.
Are we saying they got the same ghostwriter? Now let me stop.
Maybe that's what I'm saying. Let's talk about it. What's the end game for all the corruptibility with the ladies? Godspeed, talk to me, man. Or 1S, and anybody at home, jump in with a comment. Let us know.
I'm gonna let 1S go first.
I don't think it's far from what you were saying about when you said they want the prison industrial complex. I think it's just like they're trying to keep it going, but they just realize where the market is going. It's more of a marketability for women. They're more attractive. They got the bodies, and they like they shake all that, just dancing, the twerking, all that. So it's like the raunchy rapping about gangster, or this is what I want. I want a gangster. I want somebody that got money. I want just that type of promoting those type of themes. So I think it's not. I think it's still what you said about, I guess, raising the prison rate, but at the same time, I don't know.
Nah, and that's okay. That's okay not to know, but at least we gotta bring
But
these things up.
I like it because it's a conversation.
Absolutely.
So I dig his input. That's why I want him to go first, because I dig
Nah,
his input.
absolutely. It's
I want to
important.
know. I want to know what.
There's no perfect answers. Just
There's really none. There's really
just
none.
questions. Just the questions.
Yeah, see now he hit it on that
like
angle.
most common, the questions. You know what I mean?
Exactly. See now he hit it from that angle. I hit it from this one here, like on a small scale, which is still a big scale, because this is music, and this comes from what? Word, sound, power, right? Which is an older term coming from the griots, coming from our native tribesmen and tribeswomen. You know what I'm saying? And older Kibalan before it became Africa. You know what I'm saying? So that's how far back our music go, our dancing go. You know what I mean? But the thing is this, right? Okay. It's like you raising these ladies as if they're babies in this industry. And you're saying to these babies, look, instead of A for alpha, you know, B for black, you know what I'm saying? It's like A for ass and B for bitch. You know what I'm saying?
Ooh, okay.
They're switching the pitch. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So to me, it's they trying to change the natural frequency. Not everybody's gonna rap about the same thing like you said, Vic. Not everybody. Look, we always had women in the industry that was sexy. We had Salt and Pepper, okay? We had Sweet Tea. All of them was sexy women rapping in a sexy way that made us all want them. Honestly, all right.
Yeah.
You had your
that wasn't hard to do. That wasn't
Right.
hard to do because you can always have some attractive sisters. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you had your Queen Latifah wearing the African crown and all that. Talking about ladies first. Ooh, ladies first, ladies first. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Moni
Latifah was
Love,
easy on the eyes too. You know what I'm saying? So
absolutely,
I
and
mean,
she was easy on the eyes. Her and
yeah.
Moni Love,
Uh-huh.
and Isis, aka Lin Q, they were all easy on the eyes. But they always lyrical. MC Light, easy on the eyes, but lyrical and doing her thing her way in a poetic context, street context. You know what I'm saying? But then you had Salt and Pepper. That was just straight sexy, sexy from the rap to how they
Yeah.
look on stage. You
Yeah,
know what
that
I'm
was
saying?
that was their whole thing. Yeah.
So Salt and Pepper, they're like the grandmothers of a sexy red. Sexy
Well,
red
I
is
mean,
them.
yeah, they just did it a lot more classy. They didn't like,
It was a different time though. There was more constraints.
yeah,
There
they
was
were a
more
lot more
constraints.
classy. And I wish she would pay attention to a Salt and Pepper, when they did like, What a Man and all those good songs.
Right,
Shoot.
right.
Those
But
songs were
hold up,
dope.
hold up,
And
hold
they
up, hold up, Vic, hold up, Vic.
go ahead, go ahead, go ahead, go
Push
ahead, go
it.
ahead, go ahead
No,
and
no,
build.
no,
Go
no,
ahead
no.
and
I
build.
don't mean that kind of hold up. I mean hold up in a fun way. Push it. Push it real good. Really?
Yeah, yeah,
Come
they
on.
let's talk
Man,
about sex. They took it there. They took it
they're the
there.
grandmothers, bro. They're the
They
grandmothers.
they, they
Come
took
on.
it there, but it didn't cross a line of indecency. You know what I mean?
No, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm
I
playing
mean,
around at
even
the same time.
if you're talking about like Millie Jackson back in the day, who was raunchy as
Right.
hell, and would
Right.
get on the record and talk about all that extra stuff with
Okay, so you know what? You know what? You know
about
what? Let's
sex
just
and all
say
of that.
let's let's say let's say let's say Salt and Pepper might have even inspired Kaya, right?
Yeah, right. My neck, my back.
Kaya,
Right.
my neck, my back. I don't know if one S. You ever heard of My Neck, My Back, Kaya?
Yeah.
I know it's a little ways back, but all right, cool. So you went where I'm
Nah,
at,
they brought it back. They brought it back for that song had a revival.
right? So they might have inspired Kaya, and Kaya said, "I'm gonna lift this to another bar. My label is allowing me to do this, that, and the third with this." You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Now the
Mm-hmm.
sexy reds in them is seeing that. They were little tiny girls, probably like 5 year olds watching this, and they never forgot the record. And they might have taken it another way.
Mm,
It's hypothetical. But what
mm,
is the industry doing with it? Whether these people are agents or these people are just on cruise control.
right.
Boom. What's happening is this. The industry knows that, and this is the part of the industry that is sanctioned to pay attention to this stuff. They know that there's a lot of female MCs out here that are nice. And I'm talking about not talking that message, they're talking something else. Look at what's homegirl name? God, man, I like this chick too. Love, something love. Seven love, love seven, love seven. Yo, name me a couple of these new females that's real, real filthy nice right now. I'm talking about dude nice, nice on the level of men right now. What's that chick, them two chicks name?
Miss London is crazy with it.
Well, okay, okay, cool. And there's another
Miss
one out there too.
Miss London
But
is bananas.
yeah,
I
Miss
told
London is
one S
banana.
whenever we talk about it, I'll be like, yo,
People,
because
yeah.
he has aspirations of owning his own distribution and label and all of
Yeah.
that.
Oh, no
And I
question.
said, you
No
want to
question.
look for a complete package like that young lady.
She got it all. She got
She
it
got
all.
it all. She
She
got
got
it
it all.
all.
She got it all.
There's a sister
This
in
other chick.
England by the
Yeah.
name of oh shoot, what is her name? Uh
Uh,
oh, I forget the sister in
Love
London.
the
Oh my
Genius
god.
is what I'm talking about. I'm
She's
talking about
dope
Love the
too. She's
Genius.
dope too. Yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
talking about Love the Genius, bro. Love the Genius.
Love the
You got
Genius. Okay.
that's
Yeah.
that's one of my favorites. I ain't gonna hold you.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
got females like Love the Genius coming up. You know what I
Rico
mean?
Nasty. Rico
Word.
Nasty is dope too.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
dope too.
So
She's
what
just
I'm
on her
saying
like
is this.
she on her acid rap, acid hip hop.
So what I'm saying is this. So you get somebody like Nicki Minaj, you get somebody like Cardi B, you get some. It's cool. They party MCs and that's all right. You know what I'm saying? But when you give them all of the prime time light, maybe that you're paying for their spins, you're paying for the circulation of their videos. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You're taking away from these other people that need opportunities too, that got a different message and a different going about it that would be beneficial to diversify our music. Give everybody a chance to pick who they want to follow. See now,
Yeah.
follow is the big word now, right?
Yeah.
Who they want to follow.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Give it a feeling like we used to. We had the Coogee Rap on the radio. We had the Rakim on the radio, the Kane on the radio, De La Soul. And we had who? Two Life Crew. They got their
Yeah.
run.
And NWA. Yeah.
NWA got their run.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, diversity.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah, well, peace to Brother Mozzie. We're asking about. We talked about Maga Minaj, bro, and then we also talked about Sexy Red as a CIA op, and we're kind of just expounding on the. I don't know if you've been following the show. Peace to you. Haven't heard from you in a bit. Hope everything's good with you and your fan, bro. But that's kind of what we're up to, and then we're talking about why these things are and why these young ladies choose to do what they do, even though they're artists from different areas of the country, so it's almost impossible for them to be the same artist. But somehow, some way,
The
right?
factory.
Somehow, some way,
keeps creating.
they all sound alike. Why is that?
Yep, the factory keeps creating.
Yeah, the factory keeps pumping out this bull crap that's gonna, put out the frequencies to tap into your root chakra, and then now and me and 1S have had a lot of conversations about the responsibility of being a producer and making sure you're making responsible music because you're gonna be touching people's root chakra. Talk to us, Brother Mozzie. Long time no hear from. What do you think about Maga Minaj and CIA op Sexy Red? What's your thoughts?
One, when you worship money, you'll get a Maga Minaj, because as her light started to fade, and some of the stuff that she's been putting out lately ain't really hitting on nothing, you got to somehow figure out where you're going to get your next, who's going to butter your bread next. And so that's where the MAGA piece come in at. Plus, she's a tether. Let's call it like it is. I didn't mean to say that, but I shouldn't have said it. No, we're not gonna go there. But I just wanted to throw that on the table.
Bro, you know how we do on the show, man.
I know, man. And I think what happened. I think our biggest problem is psychomedia perpetrators disorder, and what I mean by that is monkey see, monkey do.
Right.
Sexy Red would not be hot if not just the radio, it's the DJs who are not DJs of old. When I got into DJing, I was doing a jazz radio show. I used to just go sit up at college up at the radio station and just go through the music, man, and just pull out stuff that I was like, damn, look at this music, man. So I wanted to make sure I was a musicologist, you know what I mean? That I'm not going to just get out there and play the classics that I know are going to be hits. Yes, but I had to introduce people to something new and different that had a different vibration and a different vibe altogether. DJs today are your MacBook DJs, and most of them only play what's hot. Remember,
hey, don't you be talking bad about my MacBook.
Hey, man, I'm just saying, but you remember back in the day, what we heard on the radio, we didn't hear in the club.
Yeah, that's true.
And vice versa. Right. And then eventually they became one. And so some of the stuff that was played on the radio couldn't be, played, nobody would dance to in the club. And then some of the stuff that was played in the club couldn't be played on the radio. Right. So there was a definite distinction on our music. And what happened is we just always were they got us singing and dancing, stepping and fetching at all times. Right. Because that's what, and then now all you get is Sexy Red come out. We know it's garbage music, man. I can't rap, man. And that sounds like how I would rap back when I was in the 7th grade. Ooh, babe. And then a man. Come on, man. Yeah. And it also goes to show you where we are as a people, that we haven't, although there's pockets, as a whole, we're regressing backwards. Because back in the 90s, when we had the lecture movement going on, I remember sitting there, man, and listening to some of our black scholars, not with abbreviated degrees, but with full PhDs, when they would sit there and expound upon things, man, and you would sit there like, God damn, how can somebody be so smart? You know,
Yeah.
and then brothers who were MCs back in the day, they were lyricists, man. They used to try and play instruments. Some of them were good at it, some of them weren't, but they tried so they can have the understanding. But they always walked around with a notebook,
Yeah,
and some
yeah,
of them had dictionaries of the sources.
yeah. Everybody tried to organically add on to the artistry. Here's what I want to talk about, and Brother Godspeed knows this as a fellow MC. Um, the battle rap used to would take care of all of what's going on with the Sexy Reds and the Nicki Minaj. And Nicki got skills. Listen, she could put together a metaphor, a simile, and a flow. I'm not saying she can't. She's really good.
No,
But
she's good.
but the battle rap on the corner took care of the battle rap at the club. Godspeed. Let me know if I'm talking crazy. If I'm lying, I'm flying. That took care of all that fake phoniness.
Oh, it sure did.
And if you wasn't coming with something original, something hot, something real that people could feel, some artistry that was organic, oh, you was getting served up right there on the street.
Absolutely.
And see, that's why that movie You Got Served hit such a tone when it came out, is because people yearn for that battle feel so that people can make sure that the artistry was staying organic. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. So,
But there's some article written years ago by Kidi Obiawadu, the Conscious Rasta, and he wrote a book. He wrote a book or an essay on hip hop plan. I think it was called Plan Destruction it was Plan Destruction in Hip Hop Music or Youth Music or something like that. It was called, and he actually charts through there how through the producers, through the various individuals, how they were planning for not only destruction of a race of people through the music, but also trying to destroy the music at the same time.
yeah, I want to highlight this real quick before we move on. In 1996, Bill Clinton killed the local radio stations and independent artists with his Telecommunications Act of 1996. It allowed iHeartRadio to buy up all the stations and only play artists they owned the licensing on. This is why you only hear the same handful of artists 1,000 times a day on the radio. So you see where the cultural shift happened. I mean, and not just the cultural shift, but the commercial shift, which
Yes, and
dictated the cultural movement. And
right.
in a group that was so dynamic, like the Wu-Tang Clan, that became global rock stars out of hip hop artists, were denied radio play. But it didn't stop. It didn't stop their movement, but they were denied radio play, and it was the saddest thing to ever happen. But it didn't stop their becoming, 50-year artists and 30-year artists, 40-year artists, and so on and so forth. So I just wanted to get with the people. Make sure y'all tune in to Broadcast Beats on Friday night. We're gonna further this conversation about Sexy Red and Maga Minaj and deal with it more from a musicality and production standpoint, and y'all will enjoy yourselves. Trust me, we're gonna have Battle of the Best. It's gonna be real dope. Thank you, 1S, for coming on, man. I know you didn't feel well tonight, man, and you definitely came in and gave the whole show and the conversation a lift. I appreciate you. Love you, son.
No problem. I love you too.
Yeah, man. All right, man. So
Hey,
we're here and we
I
talking about. Go
want
ahead.
to say something real quick about the Telecommunications Act of 1996, because remember that was the breakup. Now, and remember, every time there's these major pieces of legislation, we never look we don't look on the pages that come after that, because
Yes.
remember the Telecommunications Act. Everyone thought it was solely based on the breakup of Ma Bell and breakup of that monopoly.
Mm-hmm.
But on the back end, it allowed for somebody like iHeart to become a monopoly.
Right.
Isn't that ironic?
Right. They always like to slip those little partisan Fortune Global 2000 company set asides in the bill, in the underwriting of the bill, that nobody's paying attention to. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Just wanted
Yeah.
to say that part. Just wanted to say that part.
That's dope. And we're gonna deal with all of these things, and then of course we saw the event. We saw everything building up to that since '88 when NWA came out, or and the moving away from more soulful, organic hip hop into rap that had a lot of degradation and craziness in the middle of it. But you know what? We didn't even get to our elders and ancestors blueprint. I want to do that really quick. So I want to touch on that. Sister Joy DeGrew and what she's talking about. And then we're going to get into something right after that. Here we go.
American children to know these stories, to know these truths. They don't want them to know. Tuskegee syphilis, that's as far as we go.
Yeah.
And that was child's play compared to what was done. J. Marion Sims, the same man who experimented on all of these women, also accused enslaved Africans, accused them for the fact that the children have what we now know as neonatal tetanus. He called it Trimus nascentium. Just made up something, but it's neonatal tetanus. Tetanus derives from manure. The likely cause of it because of the proximity enslaved Africans were to animal stables. But people like him caused because of where they had to sleep. But he said it was because of their indecency of their parents. So he decided he was going to try to correct it with a shoemaker's awl. And it is a pointed object that they poke holes in leather with. Every child that was born attempted to reshape their heads and had a 100% fatality rate, killed every single child. Imagine what it must have been like. And they had a statue of him until 2018 when Harriet Washington, myself, and others said, you're going to move that from Central Park.
Central Park
had J. Marion Sims. It's now at his grave, but it stood.
History has never just been about what happened. It's about what's been told.
All right, so I got one more, and then we'll come back and talk about it on the other side. Check this out.
People. World War II, white people. The Vietnam War, white people. Slavery, white people. Systemic racism, white people. Racism in general, white people. Thousands of years of Asian history being wiped off this planet, white people. Africa decentralized for decades. South America decentralized for decades. Middle East decentralized for decades. White people. Capitalism, white people. Fascism in America, white people. Oh, look at that, you're Christian. Bet. Christianity being used to justify slavery? White people. Christianity being used to justify massacring Native Americans? White people. There's a fake Christian that sold Bibles with his own names on it sitting in the White House right now that was built and maintained by slaves. This motherfucker's white. Who led Germany during the 1930s? A white Christian. Which group of people colonized Africa? White Christians. Klan members. White Christians. St. Peter's Cross being misunderstood as a symbol of Satanism. White people. Border problems. White people. White people. The metal community being full of...
All right, I think y'all get the point. What do y'all think about what Joy DeGrew was saying, and then backed up by what this young Asian man outlined and detailed in his video? And is it as simple as blaming ethno group of a people for all of these atrocities in the world, or does that have any relevance of what's going on right now? Because they're all crying now because there's a 30% drop in Asian what do you call that? Asian acceptance rates in these elite schools all over the country ever since they reversed
took away the affirmative action. Yeah,
they got a 30% drop in their enrollment now. So all of this is boomeranging back to them, and let's try to give a fuller picture of why this matters.
Well, I think what's happening, I'll start with Dr. DeGrew. And what's interesting is that practice did not end until recent times. They modified it because I have a friend who has I have two friends, and they just happen to be females that I grew up with that had the markings on the side of their face. And that was because they were trying to put this claw-like thing over their head. It's, the story was told that they had to use it to help pull them to pull them out of the birth canal. I'm like, that don't make no damn sense. But as I got older, I started learning more and realizing that was the same thing that they did back then, just modified. So what they tried to do is do the same thing, but it was in what you would consider, and most would consider, a very light method of doing it. It wasn't as destructive as before, but they were still doing it. They were still trying to shape heads, especially black children, shape their heads and that kind of nonsense. As it relates to the Asian guy, well, Asian people, two things I think that happen in the Asian community. One, they're realizing that their honorary white status may have worked in the liberal democratic world, basically, and in the world of academia, and those who, once again, always gave everybody else everything, long as black folks didn't get anything, that psychopathic racial personality that Europeans have. And now they're starting to realize too that, hey, yeah, they don't like us really either. And so now it's time for us to tell the truth on what's going on. And they're at a point too now where there's a lot of Asian pride out there, because they're starting to realize too that, wait a minute, there are so many people who created in this world positive things, and it wasn't them. They always took from everybody who created, or co-opted what somebody had created, or every time you hear about some major scientific discovery, you find sitting in the lab as their assistants is some non-white person. And everybody getting tired of it now, man. And plus, we're at that, we're at that time and you can sort of that time continuum that, their stuff is up, man. The gig is up. People are getting fed up around the world, man.
All right.
The
Well,
veil has come off.
Just in case anybody at home think we was BSing and we got on our conspiracy hats and we talking a lot of nonsense, this is from the National Institute of Health, the NIH. These are the people that led the nation during COVID, right? With Fauci, right? This is his organization that he's maybe no longer a part of. I don't know if he's a shadow operator. And this is a case study of what they're doing to incarcerated women right now. Surgical management of incarcerated uterus in a gynecological patient case report. And this was just as of 2019. So we did an expose on the show where we showed how on death row, a lot of the inmates or solitary confinement, a lot of the ladies are getting their uterus removed in all kinds of dangerous, crazy ways. And that would basically support and align with what Dr. Joy DeGruy was talking about, and Dr. Marion Sims. He was the father of all of that. And they're doing it right now, 2019. So, if folks aren't, careful and being vigilant, it may, in fact, happen to somebody you know and love. Please be careful. Don't volunteer for anything. Don't let them tell you they're gonna take time off if they let you do some experimental procedure on you or whatever it is. Just seek counsel if that's what they're offering you. But go ahead, bro.
Haven't studies shown that Black and brown women tend to have a higher rate of hysterectomies than any other group of people?
Yeah.
Unnecessary hysterectomies?
Yeah. Yeah.
So this stuff, like you say, this stuff is going on till this moment, man. We just have to, we just have to continue to be good students, man, of what's going on. Ask some questions, Because, you know, at one point in time, we started asking these questions, and that's how we were coming up and finding out a lot of this stuff. Now it's at our fingertips, and we got to take advantage of it, man. If we're talking about surviving into the new millennium.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And speaking of that, it's almost, you know, we're running out of time, so I want to show what we came on the show for, and that's a side eye at ThanksTaking, man. Now, ThanksTaking, in my opinion, has always been a family gathering sort of an event. But and of course, you know, you have the big Thanksgiving Day parade, and everybody goes out there and shops till they drops and spends without mercy to provide this, you know, one of a kind meal that everybody eats. And then 20 minutes afterwards, everybody's off and on their own thing, and then there's no togetherness after that, or actually people are hopped up on that sugar and blood pressure, and then, you know, the knives come out on your own family members as a result of it. But I wanted to play something because I always try to get people more educated on what Thanksgiving is, where it came from, and some of the kind of origins of the holiday itself. And I want to make sure people know this. We had a family holiday one day, and we had a friend of the family come over, older brother, and I'm not going to shout him out, but him and his wife came over to our grandmother's house for a gathering. And Ty probably remember this. One ass will probably remember this. And he had an episode in the bathroom because he ate too much, and his sugar was high and his pressure was high, and he had to be rushed to the emergency room. You remember that, One S?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was like everybody was thought, you know, he was donezo. We didn't know what was going to happen to him. And it was all because he didn't watch his eating and his caloric intake and his sugar and his pressure and all the rest of it. And, you know, Thanksgiving provides that sort of opportunity to be gluttonous and kind of misstep in some ways that normally you wouldn't do. Normally you wouldn't eat till you drop, but that day kind of opens up the doors, opens up a gluttonous Pandora's box, if you will, and people choose to do these things. So I'm just going to show this one video about it, and I hope I find it fast. Okay.
And while you're looking for the video, it's not just gluttony.
Yeah,
it's
go ahead.
also the type of food we make.
Right.
You know, we cook a lot of food with that complex carbohydrates that if you're diabetic, you're going to have some serious problems.
Right. But let's listen to this sister break it down, and then we could get on the other side of it. We could talk about the health side of it. We could talk about the spiritual side of it. We could talk about the cultural side of it right here on the Real HD Show. Check it out.
And I'm thankful for my kindergarten class who made these wonderful crafts to celebrate Thanksgiving.
After the Native Americans helped the Pilgrims survive their first winter in America, the Puritans invited them to share the first Thanksgiving.
Oh, these are adorably wrong.
A 5-year-old made that.
Based off of the lies that you taught them.
Excuse me?
Oh, it's not your fault. These are full of half-truths and historical propaganda.
I thought the Native Americans and the Pilgrims were like besties or whatever.
At best, the Pilgrims and Wampanoags could be described as political allies. By the time the Pilgrims showed up, not only were 2/3 of the Massachusetts tribes completely wiped out by European slave owners and diseases, the Pilgrims were constantly at war with the indigenous people and routinely tortured them.
But what about Squanto, the Native American who learned English to help out the Pilgrims?
He was actually a slave that was hauled off to Europe, and then he learned English so that he could escape.
But they did celebrate it every year, right?
Not exactly. The next one was 16 years later, and unfortunately, it was because the Puritans were celebrating the massacre of the Pequot tribe. Back then, Thanksgiving was also for families, specifically murdering them.
Okay, we get it. History's awful. The Puritans were terrible. And now we have to let our children know that the holiday started with tons of killings. Happy?
Well, we actually have just about everything wrong with the Thanksgiving myth. Definitely didn't wear these buckle hats. Didn't land on Plymouth Rock. And as for that turkey...
No, not turkey.
More like venison, fowl, and eel.
Oh,
Who cares about how this stupid holiday got started anyway?
Exactly. In George Washington's 1789 Thanksgiving Proclamation, the settlers aren't mentioned not even once. Thanksgiving wasn't celebrated nationwide until 1863 when this guy declared it a national holiday during the Civil War in order to bring the country together. That's why all of our foods are from the 19th century.
So Lincoln came up with the whole Indian pilgrim story.
Nope, that myth didn't catch on until the 1900s after we had fought and killed all the Native Americans. And then we put it into textbooks as fact. Because America. But the food is really good, and if you ignore all the terrible history, like, the murdering, the raping, the pillaging, it's still kind of a great holiday.
All right, y'all, we back. Real HD Show, higher discussion. We here to have it. What say y'all about the ThanksTaking holiday? And the reason why I call it ThanksTaking, because they took the lives and the land and the, cultural and spiritual essence of a people. And why I say cultural and spiritual essence? Because if you look at somebody like a Davy Crockett, he wore skins like a native person. He wore the raccoon hat, he wore the skins, he wore the moccasins, just like he was a native person. And then, of course, after they didn't need them, then everybody reverted back to the, European type of clothing they wore, and on and on and on as the history foretells. So what do y'all think about that video, and where do y'all stand? Because I think we have to have a reckoning as a Black people. As a melanated people, we got to have a reckoning with this holiday. We all know and can attest that we all might have some Native in our history line, in our family line. I know mine is. I know Boodlewack out of St. Petersburg, Florida. That's my grandfather's clan, right? That was Seminoles, right? And everybody's Chickasaw, and everybody can claim something through some lineage, right?
They don't claim blackness.
Right. They'll claim something else, but then you'll sit down and have a meal over a day of genocide. Talk to us, man. We got to have a reckoning about this time period and what we're going to do about it as folk moving forward, man, because we can't continue to do things that are not in our best interest. What y'all think?
Absolutely. I mean, hey, look, just got to keep promoting the truth. And there's new truth. I don't want to say new truth, but there's certain things that a lot of us don't know that did go on. And the information is out there. It's just that we didn't come across some of the information individually yet. There's always something that I didn't know about, even though generally I kind of knew what was going on generally. But when you hear the intricacies, the nooks and crannies of it, it never ceased to amaze me what went on. You know what I'm saying? Right. What I liked about that piece, and I can't remember the name of the person, but they were saying something about a so-called Indian that was supposed to be really cool with these pilgrims. But then
Squanto.
The lady, say the name?
Squanto.
The story of Squanto appears to be the story of many, right? Because a lot of our Aboriginal indigenous folk, and I know people are funny about the word Aboriginal, but indigenous people. Now, what I will say is this. When I say indigenous, I mean that to separate from American Indian. You have American Indians and you have indigenous people in my book, okay? Now, the American Indians are sometimes flipped synonymously with Native American, right? But indigenous folk, for me, takes a whole different meaning. And I believe Squanto may just very well be the story of many, meaning like when the settlers came through with their armies and did what they did, and this was not a short story, this is a long one. Some of the parts, I can't even get that intricate about it because there's so many stories that I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But when I hear it, it never ceased to amaze me and it never surprised me either at the same time. Oxymoron. But the thing is this. Yes, we did have the Atlantic slave trade, but we also had people who were taken from here who were native to this land and taken over somewhere in Europe and dropped off, taken over in certain indigenous islands and dropped off. You know what I'm saying? Now, they were dropped off in places to be disenfranchised. because they wanted these people's talents to be used, but they didn't want the talents to be used against them. So they imprisoned them, POW'd them, and took them and landed them in places that they did not know, so they wouldn't be as effective as they would have been if they would have stayed on their native turf and fought the fight further and further. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's the part of that whole thing that she was talking about that personally grabbed me the most, because it's just a microcosm of a macrocosm. And I'm not one of these people foolishly walking around here talking about the Atlantic slave trade. It didn't happen. That's bullcrap. It did happen. There's enough proof to show and prove that it did happen. But what I'm saying is that wasn't the only like transference I should say that took place. They transferred people out of here too. They brought people over here and they transferred people out of here. And those people that they brought over here replaced the people that they transferred over. And this is a cycle that's going on and on, I suspect. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, you're
But that part,
absolutely right. That's why they called it the transatlantic triangular. It was a triangular trade. They called it the peculiar institution. You know what I mean? But for anybody who's new to this and doesn't really, know a lot about this, my younger folks, I want to put this up right here, right? And this is giving a side eye on a popular ThanksTaking, right? This is my piece, right? So, we gotta think critical about what we're doing and why we do it. 1637, the Massachusetts governor declared Thanksgiving after the brutal massacre of 700 Pequot natives. Basically, the settlers and the other tribe they colluded to have the Pequots massacred, and they celebrated by having a dinner in 1637. George Washington in 1777, after the Battle of Saratoga, declared a colonial Thanksgiving. So, in other words, after they slaughtered a bunch of people in a war, they sat down and had a colonial Thanksgiving. You know what's interesting about this, Godspeed and 1S? They went ahead and made native spies in the Battle of Saratoga and made them do dirty work for them in the Battle of Saratoga, similar to what they made Squanto do in and when they went ahead and massacred the Pequots. And yeah, real shit. Check it out. I think it's called the Alame people of Massachusetts.
the Alame, Massachusetts.
The
Wait.
Alame.
Hold on. Massachusetts?
In Massachusetts, yeah.
Oh, okay, hold on.
So
Yeah, go ahead.
Lincoln, hold on, let me finish. Let me read this all out and then we can build. Lincoln declared Thanksgiving after ordering the slaughter of the Dakota Native people. So that was back in 1863. The Thanksgiving Day parade by R.H. Macy from the giant Macy's empire, right? Store parade mocked the Feast of Commons to prevent the Ragamuffin Day of Beggars. So I'll give a little reference. I'll give a little context to that. So a lot of people were working for R.H. Macy and they couldn't afford to buy a muffin. So their children would go door to door begging people for offerings. Give them 5 cents, an apple, whatever. But then the people said, and it was mostly a time of immigrants. This is like the 1930s, 1940s. We're going to come together and make our own feast. So it was the black people, and this is in New York. The black people, the Italians, the Irish, they all got together and feasted with one another. And then R.H. Macy said, and of course they came in their own, cultural regalia, the costumes, the pageantry, whatever it was basically to celebrate where they were from and what sort of dishes they were bringing to the festivity. And R.H. Macy said, you know what? I'm going to make that a parade, and made billions of dollars over the Thanksgiving Day parade. Then this time of year starts the over consumerism season, overspending for Thanksgiving, overspending for Christmas and all of the holidays, and then overspending for New Year's. Not to mention, this leads a spike in ER health injuries, blood sugar, blood pressure, alcohol, and kitchen related fatalities. Lastly, many melanated people are interwoven into Native family and have Native in their family histories, but celebrate this day of mass genocide anyway. So the Real HD show is giving a side eye to ThanksTaking. Now, all right, so I done talked enough. Y'all brothers have at it.
No, thanks for enlightening me on that. Quite honestly, I didn't know there was nooks and crannies. That's what I mean. For me, there's a lot that is still under the sun that I need to, put my eyes on. The people's name I believe you were referencing is Lenape.
Lenape. There you go. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. So one S,
thanks for
talk
sharing.
to us. One S, talk to us, man. After hearing, and I mean, you've probably heard me talk about this. You've been in my household for all your life, so you heard me talk about things like this before. But now that you have seen it in this totality, what is this as a young person? How does this resonate with you? And then you knowing that your great grandfather was Buduak from, I've told you that a million times too, from Florida. He was Native, Seminole. How does this resonate with you, this information?
Well,
There's no perfect answers, just let it fly.
Yeah, I mean, it's good information to know in terms of like what holiday in terms of the holidays you're stepping into. It's just a cultural holiday at this point where everybody kind of celebrates it in their own way, where people just treat it as a family gathering based day, despite knowing the history, because most people know a basic history of what it is, and the injustices behind what really made it a quote unquote holiday. So you just got to take it with a grain of salt. I think, ain't really, unless you're going to start like a revolution over it, I don't think it's going anywhere as a cultural holiday. People always want to get together and eat. Like you said, people will get together and overeat. It's going to always be something that is always going to be a staple in Western culture. So, the information is good to know in terms of the history, because I'm learning more and more. Now I'm learning more and more in depth about what, like, talking about the natives and the pilgrims and the different events that being a quote unquote holiday and the different stages of it being a holiday. But at the end of the day, it's just good to be educated with this knowledge, so you're not going into it with a dull mindset. You're going into it with an enriched mindset, so you can protect yourself and have like some, it's a consciousness thing, So
Yes, sir.
going
Yes,
to
sir.
it may inspire you to not overeat, or it may inspire you to want to fast, or have personal kind of like protest to it.
Dope. Yeah, I mean, it starts with self. So the protest got to be with self first before you can go out and tell the world what to do. You got to have your own personal, education and uprising within yourself, and some solution oriented things and some growth within self before you can do anything. All right, good brothers, what y'all think, man? What did y'all think of you? We looked at the skit, we saw the diagram.
Well, it's interesting because many at this point in time, most of us may not know the details, but we know it wasn't a good time for the Native people. But how do you have within yourself, and are you able to stand alone? Because in order for this to really make a change, individuals are going to have to start standing alone. You know, one of the things that happened to me when I got married and had kids is we said we're not celebrating these various holidays.
Right.
And you know what it was like to stand alone?
No, listen, listen. You know, my
So
family is vegetarian, so what does that look like when we come through and you know,
right.
and we say we're not eating that? They're like, what? You know, right.
Yeah. So, you know, when we started, you know, everybody's having a big Thanksgiving and we're like, well, you know, that's not for us. We don't do that. Now you're being labeled as the weirdos over there. And how can you treat the kids like that? The kids need, I said, listen, we don't have no problem with coming to hang out with family because family is gathering, but we're not gathering under the Thanksgiving banner. We're not gathering. We don't do the Christmas thing. You know what I mean? So it became one of those things where we were kind of, with certain families, especially a lot of the elders, they're like, I don't care what they into. They coming over here for dinner anyway. You know, they don't care. That's just how they were. You know how your grandparents were. But tell them, come over here and they better get a plate of food. But then there were those who were your peers.
Yeah.
They looking at you like, yo, them niggas special. And that's exactly what you used to get.
And then the guilt tripping on top of that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So you have to be strong within yourself and the resolve that you have in terms of your belief that you're going to stand alone because people are going to challenge you on it because you're going against societal norm. Even though we know the heat is hot, you know, that the flame is hot, we still would rather touch the flame.
Wow.
Because everybody else touched the flame. So let's continue to touch the flame.
Interesting.
And see what some of the young folks are doing now, which I think is kind of cool, is they're having Friendsgiving as an alternative. And they're not doing it on the day of Thanksgiving, which is usually that Thursday, the last Thursday of the month.
Yeah.
So there are some changes, but what we're doing is we're running parallel type of celebrations.
Right.
But hopefully
slowly, you know, the alternatives are popping up.
Yeah.
That is dope. That is a thing. You know, shout out to Day. She's gonna do the same thing with some people down at her college because she has an apartment down there, my daughter, and then she has to stay and work over the shopping Friday that follows. And so her coming home to see us during her break wouldn't really make a whole lot of sense if she has to work. You know what I mean? So then all her friends decided to get together and have their own special get together. And I'm for it as long as they don't try to do no Miles Standish and the Pilgrims rendition. I said I'm Gucci with it, you know, just as long as y'all not trying to, you know, 7 years ago, leave all that shit in the background and love on each other. And hopefully y'all make a healthy meal for that particular time. Speaking of healthy meals, I want to show y'all something real quick before we go. We didn't do our AAT report. And this was part of the AAT report. Ty knows how we do our meals in the house. 1S knows how we do our meals in the house so many times. And here's an opportunity for those watching to make a meal that can be family oriented, that can be healthy, that don't have to break the bank, and that will promulgate family and warmth and love and honor all in the same time. It's a vegetarian dinner, but you can add whatever meat, chicken, turkey substitute you want to put into it. Hopefully, you're beginning to wean yourself for them things. But let's check this out real quick before we get up out of here. Real HD Show, AAT Report, real quick.
Auf dem Weg nach Hause. Du möchtest ein selbstgekochtes Essen, möchtest aber so wenig wie möglich aufräumen müssen.
Oh my gosh. All right, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. Every once in a while, and I don't know why that happens, but sometimes the videos will translate in another language. So we'll show that another time. But the brother was putting together this really dope all-in-one meal where you can have a carb, a vegetable, a sauteed sauce, and it would all be under $20, and it would feed like 5 to 8 people, and 5 to 8 people could eat off of it. So I'll put the link to this particular video in the show description. So if anybody's listening, you guys can go and watch that video on your own. Any other thoughts about how we as a folk can combat this time period of super consumerism, super gluttony, and maintain our own health, wealth, and respectability while going into the new year? Any thoughts about and how do y'all do it? How do y'all withstand the overconsumption, over gluttony, over everything this time of year? Talk to us. Godspeed. What you think?
I mean, I just continue to do what I do the way I do it. I
Mm-hmm.
haven't really put that much thought into it.
Okay.
Like even tomorrow, like even tomorrow, and I hate Thanksgiving, bro. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Yeah, I really truly do hate Thanksgiving as a holiday, a holiday, a hell of a day.
Yeah,
You know
it's
what I'm
very
saying?
conflicting.
But I don't change my eating pattern for no one. You know what I mean? I got a situation where, my lady's family, they do it as a family gathering day. That's their thing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, it is what it is. I cave in, I go. But, I told her, look, as long as I don't see no damn pilgrim pictures up, it's not about that. These folks are Dominican and they're just celebrating a day off with their family. But for me, look, I'm bringing my own meal. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm gonna maintain. I'm on a particular diet right now. Right now, I'm more concerned about. I just cleaned out the creatinine levels in my kidney. I brought that back down.
Fire.
Yep. I'm gonna share that protocol with you. That pretty much, I don't create anything. All I do is I research and put together. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
So
sir.
I'm definitely gonna share that with you guys. And now I'm working on the prostate right now. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I've been refining my diet. Reconcocting some new herb combinations. So I'm about doing for self right now. You know what I mean? So I'm not letting anything derail my do for self direction right now. You know what I'm saying? So, partially when they see me eating what I'm eating, they're gonna be like, oh man, that's kind of weird what you're eating. Then I can share with them, like, yeah, well, I'm eating that because of this, that, and the third. I cleaned out my kidney. I'm proud of it. Now I got to deal with a overswollen with a mildly swollen prostate. You know what I'm saying? So I got to shrink that down. Got a doctor's appointment coming, so I want that when I walk into the doctor's office, they say, "Whoa, what are you doing here? There's nothing wrong in your readings."
Right.
Then I know I'm doing my job.
Right.
I'll be able to share that too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm on a whole different vibration. Like this whole thing don't affect me no how. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
sir.
Because
Yes,
I
sir.
know about the indigenous people. I know about the people that they call the mound builders, the so-called American Indians, and or Native Americans, and or the 5 civilized tribes. They're higher chiefs and historian keepers. Some of them are keeping secrets. They know about the mound builders. They know about the Algonquins. They know
Yeah.
about the mound builders that look like 1S more than they look like me. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? They
Right.
know the people who the so-called Olmecs, the Tutu Shi. You know what I'm saying? The Shi people who migrated from pre-South America all the way to China and made a different dynasty over there called the Shi dynasty, which was earlier than those other dynasties. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's why a lot of those statues over there are dark complected. It's not just about the people who travel from so-called India. It's about the people that migrated from pre-South America. You know what I'm saying? So I share those things with these people when I see them. You know what I mean? And that's kind of like how I handle my part of it. I just, share my thoughts on that just to let them know, y'all gonna do this, but no, you got other people with different perspectives. You know what I mean? And so forth. As an indigenous person of the Western Hemisphere, knowing that I am a diaspora to the original people in the Eastern Hemisphere, pre-Africa that I prefer to call Al-Kibulan until I could find something older than that. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. So let me ask everybody here one last thing, and I want Brother Mozzie's opinion on this. Are we missing a lobby opportunity as a people? So we could raise what was it, 50 billion, 100 billion for Kamala Harris in like 3 days? Why can't we lobby to get this thing renounced and renamed into Family Day or Family Weekend?
Or indigenous people?
Because we know the confliction that it has with the native lineage of many of us in the country.
Mm-hmm.
So why keep playing games with it? Just raise the money for the lobbying efforts and raise the money to change this holiday from Thanksgiving to Family Day, National Family Weekend.
Right.
Why can't we seem to do that? What's going on? What's going on, Brother Mozzie? Talk to us.
You remember that Robert Townsend? Separate from this good white man. So he closed us on Monday. He feeds us on Tuesday. He beat us on Wednesday. Listen, man, people in this country, especially the so-called Negro of America, is wedded to everything in America. Yeah. And they can't see themselves outside of that. So that'll be the fundamental problem. You will not get brothers and sisters because churches make a big, they make a lot of money on that. And that's how they bring people into the fold. We have these new conservative Black folks who act like Black history never even existed. So, you got too many people who ride the liberal democratic machine, which promotes to us, we have to accept everything and everybody. So the Negro of America will not separate from anything that America has to offer.
Wow, powerful. I know that back in the day, like in the 30s and the 40s, when a lot of the holiday gatherings were starting to get popular, right? Because it started overseas, and then they brought a lot of the holiday traditions here. And then a lot of the, Fortune 500 used to have these lavish Thanksgiving and Christmas dinners, and they would put them on postcards and, send them all over the country and all over Europe. And people would envy a big dinner, turkey, stuffing, sauce, dishes, all the trimmings. And then it became a keeping up with the Joneses operation.
Yep, the myth of consumerism.
Yeah, consumerism. So whoever had the lavish dinner, you was a family that was about something.
Yes, sir.
It really wasn't about getting together as family or even celebrating Miles Standish and the Pilgrims. It was about that lavish dinner, so you could put your dinner and your trimmings and your fictions in a picture and a postcard and send it all over so you could be the envy of your family and friends.
Or you have that sitting out on your little coffee table with your pictures. So when you have guests over, they realize, oh, you are civilized.
Right. You get your brag on. Exactly. You get your brag on. And I'm just asking, when are we going to move from that sort of a thing so that we could just be healthier, more, spiritually in tune as a people? That's just a lot of ridiculousness. You know what I mean? Because they're giving away more. They starting to give away they giving away more food now. I believe that they're giving away whole meals at the same rate that they're selling whole meals in the store.
Yeah. This past weekend was I think they fed practically every family that wanted a turkey and some fixings. Right. And the sad thing is, no one, you know what? This is how I look at it. What will be dope is if we would come up with meals that were healthy.
Fire.
If we can just do that piece, I would be satisfied with that because I know it's going to be real difficult and very hard, and knowing where we at and the state of mind of the Negro of America, it's going to be tough, man. But if we can get them to at least change how they're eating and what they're eating on that day.
Right.
I'm not saying you can't eat a turkey because most people in general bake their turkey. So, that's a healthier way to eat your turkey, but you ain't got to put half a pound of salt on it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you can get some good flavor, and you ain't got to make no gravy with all the fat. And you know what I mean? So just try to make it healthy. Collard greens are cool. Season them. You don't have to season them with fat back. And, everybody won't get salted pork.
Right.
Now they think they got something. No. I use smoked turkey, and mine is still smoked with high nitrates, man. That still ain't good for you. So, just being able to not make candied yams because you don't need all that sugar. And we know we got somebody that's going to be sitting at the table that they don't got diabetes. They got sugar. Girl, my sugar bad, but you still eating some candied yams. You know what I mean? Yeah. Just make some good old sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes in itself are very good for you. You know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely.
Don't use no margarine, use butter. And if you can't, and I would say stay away from the butter, but you're going to have a little piece of butter to butter up a little bit. That's okay. If you're going to have some, I don't know what else you have on that day for folks, have some cabbage, whatever you're going to have, just let's try to eat healthy. Let's just start with that. That's the first step. We're going to do that for the next couple of years as we work on the next training their mind and getting them ready for the next phase. And the next phase may be cut out. You don't need to have 18 dishes. All you need
especially if you can't afford 18 dishes. Don't break the bank.
Exactly. Just let it be another meal. Let it be another meal that you have that's healthy, that's not as big. And let's sit around and let's really talk about what we're thankful for if it's a Thanksgiving day. What are you thankful for? Let's start changing the mindset and having these conversations.
Yes, sir.
So we start going down a road to where, we're being better people and stepping up our game so that now eventually we'll say, you know what? We don't make these big gluttonous meals. They're very healthy. We're talking about why we're thankful. And part of in that conversation, you're going to bring up, man, can you imagine, what the real issue, what took place historically, and then that'll start hopefully moving us in the right direction.
Yes, sir. So, wow, it's 10 o'clock. We are thankful, and I am thankful that 1S is on here with me. Godspeed is on here with me. Brother Mozzie is on here with me. And y'all are on here with me. So please make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe. Comment. And turn on your notifications so every time we have a Real HD show, you too can tap in and have a higher discussion. And we'll be on next Wednesday to do this one more again and give you that information, that awareness, so you can move fearless. I'm going to say peace. Y'all love on each other and have y'all great family days. Peace, y'all.
All right, fella.